existence of an independent Ukraine is worse than a nuclear apocalypse. To destroy its neighbor, the Kremlin and its brainwashed people are ready to throw their own economy, their children, and their future into the fire. And all because they are very afraid of Ukraine, because it is Ukraine that will start the collapse of the pseudo-empire. As they say, that day has come. An unknown army, very similar to the Ukrainian one, has launched a special operation to liberate the historically Ukrainian lands of the Kursk region from Moscow occupiers. The Ukrainian leadership welcomes assistance to the Kursk Republic, but is not making any particular comments. As they say, we are not there.
There are no armed forces present, there never were any, and there are none currently.
In just a few days, the Warriors of Light advanced more than 30 kilometers and liberated about 20 settlements. Russians who don't surrender were giving up in entire units. And Kadyrov's Akhmat, as always, didn't manage to arrive in time. Its brave commander couldn't even clearly explain what they were doing there.
Then it subsequently turned out that some of the prominent leaders of the Ministry of Defense, as I thoroughly understand it, were actively deceiving, consistently deceiving, and indeed deceiving so very much. And it ended up that they deceived themselves. That's the picture that's emerging for us now.
Either they stood their ground to the end and the enemy didn't get through.
To surrender!
Or they stood their ground to the end, but the enemy just passed them by. Or maybe they were standing in the wrong place, and the enemy didn't even know where they were and just went on to capture Kursk. In short, you have to hear it to believe it.
Basically, in those particular settlements, we didn't really have any significant forces, means, or resources available anywhere. There was only one crucial and absolutely vital line of defenses, actual border itself, and that was truly it. And as it subsequently turned out, the enemy initially managed to pass between our established Russian strongpoints, primarily because the geographical distances involved were simply enormous and incredibly vast.
But they wouldn't truly be TikTok troops if they didn't consistently post new and engaging content. Of course, with sincere apologies from the Russian lackeys who dared to seriously doubt the genuine valor of Dondon's personal guard.
Hello, I wanted to explain the situation with Kursk and about Akhmat. What I said was that Akhmat is currently the only one there with conscripts. There are no contract soldiers visible, and the conscripts complain that they are alone, and only Akhmat is helping them. They are taking losses. Akhmat is helping them. I apologize for the misunderstanding, for the fact that we misunderstood each other.
A real panic has started in Russia. A gloomy Putin convened the Security Council and mumbled something about a minor provocation by the Banderites.
As is widely known, the Kiev regime has recently carried out yet another large-scale and egregious provocation, indiscriminately firing various types of dangerous weapons.
The Kremlin ghoul still didn't have the courage to admit that because of his idiotic policies, for the first time in 80 years, a foreign army has invaded Russia. And not just any army, but by all accounts, a Ukrainian one. The very same army that Shoigu supposedly destroyed back on the 25th of February 2022.
During the night, operational tactical aviation of the Russian aerospace forces and missile troops struck 134 Ukrainian military targets.
The bargain bin Hitler is so afraid to admit the fact of the invasion that he declared a state of emergency in the Kursk region. A state of emergency. Just an emergency, that's all. All you need to do is call the firefighters and they'll take care of everything. The Kremlin called the combined arms operation a terrorist act and launched a counter-terrorist operation.
A fairy tale debt.
In other words, Moscow decided to pretend that nothing is happening. It's a nightmare. Everything will somehow resolve itself, and the residents of the Kursk region can deal with their problems on their own. And now we move on to our favorite genre. Putin, help us!
We are left alone. We got used to the shelling. We supported the special military operation. We helped our army from the very beginning and continue to help since the first days of the operation.
A strange special operation. They supported it, but they don't like the results. Ah, that mysterious Russian soul.
We are left with children, without a roof over our heads, without payments, without money. Everyone who could left. Our children are afraid to sleep at night. Our relatives stayed behind. We can't call them. There is no connection at all. Please, help us get our land back.
The Kremlin itself also picked up the baton of whining and complained about Ukraine to the UN because it violated Russia's borders and international conventions.
Now we are witnessing this firsthand during the terrorist attack by Ukrainian militants on the Kursk region, carried out with weapons supplied by the West.
Even the most zealous propagandists who have been calling around the clock to destroy Ukraine and move further into Europe suddenly remembered international law.
That is the special military operation in Ukraine. Yes, we understand that. But we do not understand military actions on Russian territory. Personally, I don't understand them. I don't want to understand them. I refuse to understand them.
That's what the life-giving triangle does! Contrary to expectations, our Western partners did not start shouting about escalation and instead unanimously supported the armed forces liberating historically Ukrainian territories.
There is nothing unusual about Ukraine not informing us of its exact tactics before carrying them out. This is a war they are fighting. We provide them with equipment and advice. But when it comes to day-to-day tactics, sometimes we communicate with them, sometimes we don't.
Because you can't deny the hard fact, the Kursk region is Ukrainian territory. Historically, culturally, and ethnically.
They're threatening. Well, it's just that here...
We just have some ammunition there. We honestly can't go anywhere.
All right, we'll go on the 25th.
But do you speak Ukrainian?
Well, I may be in Ukraine, but yes, I do speak Ukrainian.
So,
Glory to Ukraine!
Glory!
The town of Sudzha, which has now surpassed Paris and London in popularity, was founded by Ukrainian Cossacks of the Sumy regiment. At the beginning of the 20th century, more than 60% of the population were Ukrainians. Moreover, from 1918 to 1919, Sudzha was the capital of Ukraine. Later, the Bolsheviks moved it to Kharkiv.
Now that's a twist!
And do you know why the workers' and peasants' government of Ukraine was created specifically in Kursk, and why the capital of Ukraine was in the city of Sudzha?
Think about it.
Because the Kursk region was administratively part of Ukraine. And just 100 years ago, everyone recognized this, even Moscow. Now, of course, after decades of intense Russification, most residents of the Kursk region mistakenly consider themselves to be Laptenogi. This is a terrible tragedy and a crime of the Kremlin regime. An interesting fact is that the people of the Kursk region still understand the Ukrainian language, even though they themselves don't understand why they do, why they can easily listen to Ukrainian radio and watch Ukrainian television channels.
So, how do you say Papalia, Nitsia? Yeah?
Payan! Yetsia! Yeah, seems like that's right.
The lands of Kursk, during the times of Kiev and Rus, were part of the Chernihiv and Pereyaslav principalities. And for some reason, the fact that Chernihiv and Pereyaslav belong to Ukraine doesn't raise any questions. So why on earth did Kursk suddenly become Russian? The only Russian Kursk is now at a depth of 72 meters.
You tell me, what happened with the submarine?
Sank.
And as for Kursk ending up as part of the swamps, we have the communists to thank for that. After winning the civil war, the Bolsheviks started redrawing the borders of the Union and carved off entire regions populated by Ukrainians from Ukraine. The Kremlin transferred Ukrainian regions such as Belgorod, Starodub, Eastern Donbass, Taganrog, and other border areas to Soviet Russia.
Thus, after the Bolshevik coup, the Ukrainian People's Republic issued its third universal, which stated that the final borders of the state would be determined to include Kursk, Kholm, Voronezh, and neighboring provinces where Ukrainians live.
All the so-called Russian territories that border Ukraine to the north are actually Ukrainian Slobozhanshchina. And these lands have been under occupation for 100 years. What can we talk about if in the village of Ivanovskoye in the Kursk region there was a residence,
Take a little breath into your chest.
Hetman Ivan Mazepa, the same Ukrainian hetman who fought for the independence of Ukraine. And now his work lives on. Kursk region returns to its native harbor.
The soldier checked the documents. He wasn't rude or anything. He said filming was not allowed. I said, "What are we supposed to do now? What's going to happen?" He was like, "What to do?" He said, "Learn Ukrainian and get ready for the referendum."
The people of Kursk need to finally understand and accept that Moscow doesn't care about them, just like it doesn't care about the people of Belgorod. To the Kremlin, they are just cannon fodder and bargaining chips. Notice how, as soon as you call yourself Russian, you become obedient, downtrodden, and defenseless.
Mala, Loknia, Molotensky Village Council, Suzhan District. Our residents heard strong explosions at 3:30. Everyone who could, not understanding what had happened, grabbed what they could and got into their cars. Some left in just their underwear and t-shirts, some in nightgowns. The children were wrapped up in some kind of cloth.
Residents of Kursk region, stop calling yourselves Russians. What are you, masochists? People of Kursk, you are Ukrainians who have become victims of ethno-genocide. And now, in the Kursk region, there is a rehabilitation of victims of Stalin's and Putin's repressions. An act of historical justice is taking place. We are waiting for a referendum on the secession of the Kursk region from the pseudo-empire.
Good day, friends. So, I met a person here in Sudzha. I want to ask, how do you feel about the liberation of Sudzha?
Long live the Sudzha People's Republic! Honestly, yes! I've had enough of Russia. I can't take it anymore. I've had enough of this tyranny. Who did? Glory to Ukraine!
In the Belgorod region, liberation from occupation has also begun. And this is just the beginning.
Wishing you good health. Battalion 252 is located in the settlement of Poros, Belgorod region. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the 252nd Battalion.
Glory to the heroes!
Residents of Kursk, Belgorod, and Bryansk regions. This is finally your chance for a normal life. A chance to return to the European family of nations. A chance to get rid of Moscow's dictatorship. A chance to restore historical justice. It's no wonder you say the word Polyanitsia better than anyone else in Russia, almost without an accent.
Alright, no. And what exactly is that then?
Well, it's bread. No, it's strawberry.
Strawberry?
Yes, it's strawberry.
Okay, stop it. Polyanitsia. I don't know. Honestly, I'm at a loss. Exciting times are coming, comrades.
I would like to remind you that this video is created for entertainment purposes and contains elements of satire and irony. All facts and events are presented in a hyperbolized or exaggerated form to convey a comedic or dramatic effect. Our goal is not to mislead, but to highlight humor. Please take it with a smile.